8:30. And at this time, I'm calling the March 22nd special meeting to order. And I'll turn it over to Todd.
All right, we only have one item on the agenda, and it's approving bids for a force main that will be laid from Station 3 and Station 4 all the way through a area to where it dumps directly into Station 9. Just to let y'all know, and I just named the pump station. Station 3 is the one on Shopping Way. So we'll come out of that station, go across 10-mile diversion, go down Lear, straight to, then it'll hit 10-mile bayou, run along the ditch bank all the way out to south of the country club, and then turn in and go in just north of where Coca-Cola is. So Station 4 is the one at Lear. This will take the sewage that is cascading from Station 3 to Station 4 to Station 6, which Station 6 is on South Avalon. Then Station 6 pumps to Station 7, which is on South Woods, and then Station 7 pumps to Station 8, which is on Jefferson. Then we pump it to the treatment plant. So we're going now directly and take a lot of that loadings off of those other stations that will help the whole city as a whole based on our models. So, but associated with the bid tabulation, I'm going to turn it over to Tim Berner, who, as y'all know, is our engineer of record for the CAP plan, which is the corrective action plan associated with the administrative order that was we're under currently by ADQ. So I'll turn it over to Tim.
Thanks, Todd. So as Todd said, this is obviously, this is a big project. This is probably one of the most impactful projects, the first real impactful project that you will start getting constructed, that you'll see immediate results from once it's online. It's a difficult project. It impacts a wide swath of the city. We had 8 plan holders during the bid phase. There was a lot of interest in this. At the end of the day, we had 3 bidders. 2 of them got together as a team, and then another bidder who went it alone. The low bid was just over $3 million from Argo Construction Corporation. They're a pretty well-known utility contractor over in Memphis. Have had a lot of experience with them over the years. The second bidder was Reese Construction out of Forest City. I've also had experience with them, both of them quality contractors. Obviously, they each saw the project a little bit differently. You're going to see a lot of different types of construction here. We're going down roadways, down along ditches, through open fields. But at the end of the day, it's our recommendation that the Utility Commission move forward with Argo Construction Corporation. I do want to point out that because of the current climate with the purchase of pipe materials, that we did opt to lessen the risk on the contractor who is trying to gauge when he would actually make an order for this pipe. We're pulling that out of their project, and they have provided us a material list and their suppliers, so that will be a direct purchase by the commission. And that seemed to be the most favorable way of trying to keep these costs. I realize these are big costs, but keep the cost and risk to the contractor down as much as possible, because that, I believe, in the long run does save you money. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions you may have on the bids to this point, but our recommendation is to move forward with Argo Construction Corporation.
Why would the big difference in that cost? What?
My guess, and this is pure speculation on my part, is that contractor utilized a specialty contractor that has a fair amount of experience over the past 2 years doing some pretty deep work for the city, and has really seen ground conditions in West Memphis at their worst. groundwater. And I think that they were, this is speculation on my part, I believe that they're trying to make sure that if they got into the same situation, that they had all their ducks in a row, pardon the pun, in order to handle water groundwater should it arise, or bad soupy ground conditions. Were the low bidder a less known contractor, perhaps not as known for large projects they've done, I would have put more stock in the difference in bids, but we have an experienced low bidder. We've had discussions with the low bidder as well as the second bidder on how they view the project, and at the end of the day, the low bidder said, look, we've gone back and looked at this, we feel comfortable with our bid, and we're prepared to move forward. But I believe that is exactly why they looked at it two different ways.
So what happens, you go with the low bidder, and they find those issues?
Well, we set up a bid to where they have to include in their bid dewatering for the ground conditions. But West Memphis Utilities will pay the operational cost for that dewatering system. So they both recognize that there's going to be water conditions here. If they get into a situation or an excavation that they're having trouble with the ground conditions, that's on them. We can provide them a shoulder to cry on, but
So they're gonna have to eat it.
They'll have to eat it.
So what's to keep them from saying, let's cut our losses, we're packing up and leaving?
Their performance and payment bond.
They're bonded. If they walk away, we pull the bond.
And
And
their reputation.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
And certainly that's the reddest squirrel I've seen in a long time. Sorry.
Hey, we want basketball.
I've had to call a bond on the contractor before, or on behalf of an owner. That is never a good and fun time. It's not. Again, we have an experienced and seasoned contractor. I don't think that, from what I have seen in assisting West Memphis over the past 5 or 6 years, that we're going to get into a condition where they throw their hands up and walk away. Is it a possibility? It's always a possibility, but that's what you have as a performance and payment bond that ties them or their bonding company to the project.
What size is this line?
So the line itself is a 14-inch line. There's about 14,000 feet of it. And they have their choice of materials. They could either use a PVC pipe or a high-density polyethylene pipe. Our big concern was the inside diameter had to be a specific size. The low bidder chose a high-density polyethylene pipe where he'll thermofuse the joints, so the joints will be very tight once it's put together. The high bidder chose to use a plastic slip joint. I think they were both fine, but it's just how they viewed getting the pipe installed.
Did Reese go by a different name at one time?
you would have known him as Cotton Roberts.
That's what I wanted to call it.
So Cotton Roberts would have been Brad's father.
That's exactly right.
Okay, well, I contractor that big, Forest City and stuff, we used to do Cotton Roberts, but.
Yes.
And and they had done work in Tunica for us way back when, so, two good contractors.
Okay. Okay, any further questions?
What's the timeline? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I think the next step, should we move forward, is that we'll provide a notice of award. It's typically going to take the contractor a week to 10 days to get their bonds, and then we will look at what the availability is on the pipe, because the pipe is that could be 4 months before the pipe shows up. The pump stations, I can almost assure everybody, will take 4 to 5 months for that equipment to come in. We've given the contractor a full year so that they would have the entire seasonal change of weather and groundwater conditions to experience this project in. And that was done in large part based on comments we received from the contractors when we first advertised this back last fall, but opted because of the time of year it's going to be, we would postpone the bids and then re-advertise when they would have a full summer. So we'll have the impacts of this construction for probably, once it starts, 8 or 9 months.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A
Second.
motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Mr. Holmes to accept the
Mr.
low
Brown.
bid of Argo Construction Corporation of $3,697,724.80.
And he's not Mr. Brown.
Oh. What the hell?
You say
Mr.
Brown.
Burns
Brown shirt.
and Mr. Holmes. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You can let them know, Emily.
Oh, we have a new commissioner that missing her first meeting. Emily Scarborough, the executive director of the West Memphis Chamber of Commerce, will be joining us hopefully at the next meeting.
Great.
She's a little under the weather this morning. So,
Thanks for not bringing it here.
yes. And we'd like to thank all y'all for coming out this morning on this beautiful day.
All the way up here just for 10 minutes, huh?
That's okay. I had to drive to Kingston Springs, Tennessee one time for a 5-minute meeting. North of Nashville, you can't get there from here.
You need a motion to adjourn?
I need a motion to adjourn. Here. Hey.